What's up, party people, and welcome back to my channel. So I wore this makeup yesterday for 12 hours, literally from about 1:45 in the afternoon to about 1:45 at night, and it looked superb. It almost looked just as good when I took it off as when I put it on, and that never happens for me. I have very severe acne. I don't know if you can tell, but guys, we are properly covered, but I've got very severe acne and I have a very hard time with any kind of face makeup actually lasting. It's not even a matter of me being super oily, because I'm not. But yesterday when I got home, I was so mind blown by how good my makeup looked, and just like even throughout the day, like I just kept looking in the mirror and just being like, oh my God, what did I do? Right after I got home and took my makeup off, I made a very detailed list of every single thing I used in the order of how I used it. I'm not tweaking or modifying or editing my routine whatsoever. Like, I'm gonna do the exact same steps and the same products. I say that because yesterday I was testing out some more high-end products. Normally I would take some time to try to figure out if I could find cheaper alternatives for the expensive products, but I'm not doing that. Like, it is what it is. Do with this what you will. So yeah, if you guys want to know how I got the perfect airbrush foundation routine that lasted me 12 hours and probably could have gone a lot longer, then please keep watching. So because I knew that yesterday was going to be a very long makeup day, I want to make sure my skin was at ground zero. Like, I want to start from scratch. So I first went into the Vanacream Gentle Face Cleanser. This is literally the best gentle face cleanser I've ever used. It's super good for sensitive skin. It doesn't leave your skin feeling tight and dry. Like, it feels clean, but not stripped. And then I went into an exfoliating toner. So like I said, we're starting from scratch. Like, we're starting from ground zero. And if you have any kind of existing oils on your skin or any kind of dead skin cells, then, you know, it can affect the way the makeup wears and like how it sits on your skin and stuff. So just use any kind of exfoliating toner, honestly. It could be an AHA, BHA, PHA, whatever. I'm not sure how readily available and accessible the one that I used is, because I found it at TJ Maxx. It was under like $7 or $8, but this is the Feel Free Bio 7% glycolic acid glowing toner. See, I'm just gonna put this on a cotton round and wipe my face down with this. Make sure that your skin is dry from washing it before you do this. So I'm just gonna sit here for a few minutes and wait till this completely sets down. All right, there's my skin ready to go. So the next thing I did was apply 3 layers of a glowy rose water spray. This is the Soué Revitalizing Rose Mist. You could totally do this with any kind of essence or even a watery toner. Just pour some into your hand, pat it on your skin. Layer number 2, we are going in. You can tell that I'm going off and doing different things in between each layer and each step, because yeah, brushed my hair out, put some dry shampoo in, took the clip down. So let's go into our third and final spray of the rose water. So you don't really have to wait a long time after that last spray before you go into your moisturizer, because, you know, moisturizers actually sometimes do better if they're applied to damp skin. So you can go ahead and move on. But this is, I'm gonna use a Peach Slice's Acne Oil-Free Moisturizer. So yeah, I'm just gonna apply a thin layer of this. So I'm not even gonna wait for this step to dry. I went straight into my sunscreen. This is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. I actually feel like some products, especially moisturizers and sunscreens, go on better when you don't let them dry. Kind of depends on the product, like just play around. But because of how I do my routine in real time, the sunscreen would have time to dry at least for a few minutes before I go into foundation on top of this. So we're gonna wait some more. So yeah, like I said yesterday, I was testing out a few different things, and I tested out the Say Glowy Super Gel in the shade Sun Glow, which is just a very light bronzy shade, but I use this as my base. This little trial size is actually only 16 bucks at Sephora, so it's actually pretty affordable. It's kind of drugstore priced if you buy this size. I was actually afraid this was gonna be too dark and bronzy for my skin, but it just melts right in. Like, it's kind of like a translucent bronze. It just gives you a little bit of color and glow, but it sinks in really well. Like, it's not oily, it's not greasy or shiny. Okay, now go wash your hands. Yesterday I got a little rambunctious with the foundation mixing. Starting off with the Ulta Complexion Crush Foundation. This is one of the best, most underrated, medium to full coverage, natural satin finish foundations. Gonna squeeze some on the back of my hand. I'm gonna start off with about that amount. You can always add more. This is the shade Light Neutral. And then one pump of the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. This is the shade Soft Beige. This is my perfect shade match. But yeah, one little pumperoo. Taking whatever's on my finger from mixing it up and just applying it back here where I had the most to cover up. Always remember that wherever you first lay product down is where it's gonna be the most concentrated with pigment. I actually think I kind of did this all over, like just a little bit. And then this is when it gets kind of gross if you're a germaphobe. So we are actually going to rub the product into our brush from the palm of our hand. So this is actually a tip that I learned from Katie Jane Hughes. She is an amazing, very educational, very informative makeup artist on TikTok that I watch. But she talks about how this helps for the makeup to sit better on the skin. It helps it to even wear better. Like it helps with blending and everything. So I don't know if this had anything to do with why my makeup looked so good yesterday and why it wore so well, but I'm doing it. I don't like doing this. It feels very gross to me, like there's a lot of oils and stuff in your hand, but she says just kind of swirl the product into the palm of your hand and then go in and blend it out. By the way, I'm using the Show Angle Contour F6110 brush. I don't know where you can find this except the Show website. You may be able to find it on Amazon. I'm not sure, but I'll try to link it below. But yeah, it's legit a like bronzer contour blush brush, but I realized that it works so well for foundation. So that's what I've been using it for. I was actually about to declutter it and get rid of it, but then I was like, let's give it one more whirl as a foundation brush, and so good. So yeah, every time you pick up product, just kind of swirl it into the palm of your hand and really work that product into the brush. I would call this a medium coverage, like a true medium coverage. I can still see my acne and stuff back here, but we're gonna go into yet another foundation to boost the coverage. Going into this Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. This is the shade Warm Oat. Picking some up with the brush, palm of the hand. Feels so gross. And then tapping it right over my problem areas. And if those other foundations gave you what you need, then just skip this step. But yeah, I really took time to blend and buff, and I'm being very light with it too. Like I'm not pressing the bristles down so firmly to where it's like bending them. Like I'm really keeping it surface level. And yeah, there's foundation. Concealing under the eyes, I'm gonna go into the Kokie Double Time Full Cover Concealer in the shade Light Tan. This has become one of my favorite concealers and most trusted concealers. It is so freaking good. And I did the exact same thing as I did with my foundation. So I put some on the back of my hand like this, like a very small amount, and rubbing it into the palm. Once again, my hands are clean again. And my under eye area looked so creamy and milky smooth yesterday. Like it was very impressive. So yeah, there's a coverage with that concealer. It is amazing. I'm also gonna bring it like right here on the side of my nose, kind of connect it to the other side, and that's concealer. Bronzer now. This is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Bronzer in the shade Day Trip. Yeah, getting some on my brush. I may dab a little bit onto the palm and then bronze up. This is a very, very good tone for me. It's actually pretty hard to go overboard with this because it's a pretty stiff formula. It's actually kind of dry, but it wears so well on my skin. I have to dig this big ass brush in here. Over my nose, kind of like a W shape connecting the cheeks to the nose like this, you know, that little shape. And that's bronzer. So I also tested out a new cream blush yesterday that's more expensive. So this is the Rare Beauty blush in the shade Hope. I got a little mini size in this one too. Like I said, I feel like more face products, especially like expensive ones, need to come in deluxe sample sizes like this. Like I'll probably never use this up. So yeah, exact same thing, back of hand, putting it in the palm and starting back here towards my height, like the height of my cheekbones. Yeah, I gotta say, the blush yesterday was blushing. There's a blush, so wiping off the extra product, going back into my concealer brush with no extra product, and just kind of dabbing where the two meet to make sure there's no harsh line of demarcation or anything. So yeah, just kind of fusing those lines together. Why am I out of breath? For highlighter, I use one of my most trusted favorite highlighters of all time. I don't know if this is available right now. Like I feel like sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not, so it's kind of hard for me to say. My favorite cream highlighter of all time, it's $1, okay? It is a freaking dollar. It is the AOA Studio Velour highlighter. I actually went through a little depotting stage about a year or so ago and put a lot of my highlighters into a Z palette. So all these right here are the Velour mousse highlighters, and they are to die for. Now I noticed that not all the shades that I love and use are always available on the Shop Miss A website, but when they are, stock up. I've got a couple that are not quite for my skin tone. Like this is more like a rose gold bronzy shade. This is more of a basic bronze shade. So what I'll do is mix these two over here, and I'll give you the shade names in just a second, but I'll mix the ones that are more for my skin tone with the darker ones, and I get use out of all of them. Yeah, I usually go between, this one is called Sometimes. By the way, these are all named after Britney Spears songs, so freaking awesome. This one's Sometimes. This one right here that I've hit pan on is called For You, so like Slay For You. Darker one is called Stronger, and then Private Show. So this one's more like a rose gold bronze. So let's see, yesterday, what was my heart feeling? I think I dipped my finger into Sometimes, For You, and Private Show, I believe, the more rose gold one. Don't let the cheap price tag of this fool you, because despite it being $1, it is one of the most long wearing highlighters I've got in my collection. It melts and sinks in so freaking lovely. Like, there's no detectable shimmer or glitter or sparkle. Like, it just looks like pure metallic gleamy goodness. Like, it is so good. I really hope that more people get onto these, because I'm afraid that they're gonna end up being discontinued, because everything I love gets discontinued. This is the best cream highlighter formula I've ever used. So going back into my blush brush with no extra product and just kind of dabbing, once again, just kind of dabbing between the highlighter and the blush to make sure that it doesn't look like too over consuming of the area, I guess you could say. So now I'm gonna do what I do every single time I put my makeup on, which is my concealer setting spray hacks. I'm gonna post the entire video up here. I go very in depth, why I do this, what it does, the purpose, all that. Please check that out. It is one of the best concealer hacks I can ever share with you, and I do this literally every single time. So I'm gonna use the Revolution Relove Pore Vanish Prime Mist. Then I'm gonna set my face with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder in the shade Light. It's one that does have, I wouldn't say it's a sheen, but it just kind of maintains a little bit of sheen on your skin. Like, it's not one that makes your skin flat, matte, or dry. It makes your skin maintain some liveliness. And I did this same palm trick with the setting powder. So yeah, I'm gonna pick some up on the pointy side of the powder puff, and then I tapped it into the palm of my hand. And I went into my T-zone. I always start my T-zone. Like, I never start setting powder on my under eye area because I feel like it's too much. So I try to disperse the most product around my T-zone first and then move up to my under eye area. So I kind of start right here next to my nose, and then I move it up to my under eyes. So yeah, again, getting some on there, tapping off a lot of the excess and kind of working it into my powder puff and my hand, and then going under my cheek product area. So I pretty much avoided anywhere that I put like bronzer, blush, highlighter. Like, this entire area stayed clean of powder. So I just kind of lightly dance it over my forehead like that. Also, I think I took some directly onto the sides of my nose because I did wear some sunglasses. Even my transfer marks with my sunglasses weren't that bad. Like, I didn't even really notice them. And then also bring it down to my neck. Then I went into a pressed powder, and I kind of used it like a finishing powder, like just to kind of, I don't know, really lock in the setting powder, like the loose setting powder. I've been doing this a lot lately, actually, where I'll use a loose setting powder and then lock that in with a pressed powder. And it really helps your makeup wear a lot better. This is not a product that I use all the time. I'm not saying that I love it and it's a must-have or anything. Like, I just pulled it out and decided to use it very lightly. But this is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush setting powder. This is the shade number 1 Fair. Again, a deluxe mini size, which is also hella expensive. So yeah, picking some up with that powder puff, again, knocking off some excess and warming it up into the palm of my hand, and just going right here in my T-zone. So just kind of locking in the pores and anywhere where I tend to get creasing, besides my nose where I get transfer marks, and just a very light amount, like I said, in between my eyebrows, like that. Oh my god, I totally forgot that I actually topped off the cream blush with a powder blush. I topped off the Rare Beauty blush with this Sephora colorful blush in the shade Shame on You. So yeah, here's what this looks like. It's just, again, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a powder version of the Hope shade in the Rare Beauty liquid blush. So I'm just going to take it on that same taper brush just a little bit. I just kind of went in with a light amount and just tapped it over the blush area. And then for setting spray, so this is something I've never done before, but I think I'm gonna do it again, which is to basically just double up my setting sprays. So use a setting spray that's more of an actual setting spray, like not one that, you know, it gives you a dewy finish or makes your skin look more glowy or anything, like just something that improves the wear of it. So I start off with the Revolution Conceal and Define Infinite Mattifying Long Wearing Setting Spray. I went in on top of that one with the Believe Beauty Makeup Perfecting Setting Spray, also at Dollar General. This is one that improves the wear of your makeup really, really well, and I love it by itself, but it also adds that really pretty light dewy finish. So this combination worked out beautifully. This one I actually feel like works out better if you apply like a heck ton of it. And then a very light amount of the Believe Beauty one. And then I'm gonna go into a wee bit of lip gloss just to kind of finish things up and not look naked. And that is my perfect foundation routine. It is the perfect balance of glow to matte. Like, in my opinion, this is the perfect natural satin finish look. This is the type of finish and look that will play well with every skin type. And again, good makeup days for me are few and far between. Days where I feel like my acne isn't the main focus, that almost never happens. I hope it helped you guys. If you like this video, then make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. Here are a couple more things you might want to check out next. So just venture around, make yourself at home. Subscribe if you're not already, and turn the notification bell on to always see my stuff. And I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.